Before we get into this episode, there's something that might be of interest that I wanted to tell you about. Scene and Heard, who run this podcast, have been asked by Scotland Food and Drink to undertake a strategic review of the Scotland Food and Drink Excellence Awards. Now, these Excellence Awards have been going for almost 20 years and are a huge mainstay of the food and drink sector. But it's time to ensure that they're still relevant. So if you have ever been involved in the Scotland Food and Drink Excellence Awards, or even if you've ever had an opinion about them, we would love for you, please, to complete our survey. So if you go to the On Farm Twitter, which is at @on_farm UK, and click the link in the bio, there will be a tab in there that will take you to the survey, and it should only take you a very short while to complete, but we would be enormously grateful.
So hi, it's Monty here for this episode of On Farm, and today we're in a different location altogether. We're not on a farm as such, we're standing outside the Roslin Innovation Centre. There's a big metal horse sculpture, a bit like a miniature statue of the Kelpies, and some very modern, high-tech, if that's the word I'm looking for, type buildings. Across the way is the Royal Dick School of Veterinary Studies. This is really kind of the science and tech hub of Scottish agriculture. It's quite an exciting place to be, and we're going to meet with a relatively new start company, a high-tech company called Dyneval, because they've got a very innovative product that we're going to learn more about. And I'm particularly interested because this is the sort of tech that we're going to hear about today that can make a big difference to agriculture, a big difference to the bottom line, big difference to carbon footprint, basically just making things more efficient. But it's interesting that we're here at Roslin and we're going to see cutting edge technology. Remember, this is the home of Dolly the sheep. It's really where science and agriculture meet. So let's go in. This is quite exciting. Let's go and see what we've got here in a lab. Different for On Farm being in a lab. Hello.
Oh, hi Monty.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Hi. It's Vincent, yeah?
Yeah, my name is Vincent Martinez.
Hi Vincent, how are you doing?
Very good, very good.
Good.
We've got our lab over here.
Yeah.
So we can start and give you a quick visit.
Absolutely.
And then we can have a wee chat. Yeah.
Let's go and have a look, yeah.
Let's go.
Thank you.
So this is our lab.
Yeah.
The first thing you see is a lot of Dynescan products and technology. We use it for research, but also development.
Yeah, we're not talking about a science lab here with microscopes, Bunsen burners, etc. This is high-tech stuff. And we're going to see, I believe we're going to see how you work with it, how it actually operates. I might even get to have a look at it and see if I can make sense of...
hopefully you can use it yourself.
Yeah, that's yeah.
That will be a perfect example of anyone being able to use a Dynescan.
Anyone, yeah. Right, we'll see how that works out.
So this is the Dynescan over here, as you can see, and you can actually have a feel with you. It's quite portable. This is about 3 kilos approximately. It's basically an instrument that allows you to assess the quality of semen. Primarily, we start with bull semen for the cattle industry.
Yep.
And it could be fresh semen during bull soundness examination for natural servicing,
yep.
Especially in the beef industry. Or it could be as well straws, mm-hmm. or post-thaw frozen straws, which is mainly used in the artificial insemination process for the dairy industry.
And this is important, right? Because if a farmer or vet, they want to make sure that straws, they want to make sure that semen is up to standard, is worth using. They want to assess a bull's potential for breeding. It's not just an arbitrary look down a microscope with this. This is about giving an assessment.
Yeah, exactly. So today, at least for bull soundness examination, every bull used for natural servicing is required or recommended once a year. The way the vets do it, they check all the physiology and physical aspect of the bull, and also part of that assessment, they collect a semen sample, a fresh semen sample, put a droplet onto a microscope slide and try to look under a microscope.
Yeah,
and this is a very visual assessment.
Yeah.
This is how it happens today.
Yeah.
There are scientific studies. Look, there is subjectivity and variation up to 40% between vets. So it's quite subjective. What Dynescan does is remove that subjectivity and provide an accurate and objective assessments of the motility So how sperm swims and how many of them swims.
It's like you and I could look at a sample down the microscope and I could say, that looks all right. It's swimming, it's mobile, it's whatever. There's enough there per what how do you measure it? Per millimeter? What do you say?
Well, so one of the parameters that vets look at is called progressive motility,
right,
which is the percentage of motile cells or swimming cells that swim in a good manner, just to very simplify it here.
They've got more than their bronze swimming badge
exactly,
or whatever.
In terms of subjectivity, here visual assessment, one may tell you, I see 20%, which may be a fail, or maybe someone that might see 60%, which may be a pass. Here, we claim with Dynescan, it's a reproducibility within plus minus 3%. So if you perform a measurement, or myself perform a measurement, if there was no change in the sample, we should get results within plus minus 3%, which is a very good reproducibility.
So that's brilliant. This is taking away the sort of, if you like, the guesswork. It's taking away the, well, I think that looks all right type.
Very importantly as well, this is very easy to use.
Yeah.
You don't need to have prior experience in semen analysis or experience in the lab, not at all. So we've done a little study in the lab where we were 5 users and 3 never been in a lab. Actually, the first time using a lab coat, using a micropipette. And with 30 minutes training, we all get a result within plus minus 3%.
So that is quite key. And we're going to go on and speak to a vet about how he uses this actually out in the field, if you want to say that. But that's key because I would imagine, a young vet going onto a farm, doing an assessment, as it stands at the moment, it's a bit hit and miss. It's a bit like, what am I looking at? Is this right? And, it takes experience to say that's good or that's bad. This takes all of that away.
Yeah, you're totally right. I mean, for young vets, this is fantastic. But we also talk to vets that perform 300 to 500 bull soundness examination a year. And they do recognize there is still subjectivity. If they go on holidays for 1 or 2 weeks and they come back, they've got a lack of practice again. So there is still, even for experts, there is still a level of subjectivity. And each of vets try to put their own thresholds. But of course, it's very difficult to really train their eye to get a very similar assessment than any other vets. And that is the key. We can remove that and create this new standards, and it can be used at the farm by farmer or vets or AI technician, even students, because it's very easy to use, or it can be used also by lab technician experts in the lab. So it's really bring a common instrument technology that can be used across the whole industry.
So can we have a look? Can we have a bit of a, I hate to say play around, but can we have a look and see how this works?
So I will put a little pause here because we need to get a sample. We have a little liquid nitrogen tank over here. So what we're going to do is fill it with liquid nitrogen, and we are going to go to where we have our straws stored in the liquid nitrogen facility, and then we're going to transfer a straw here and bring back that little tank. And from here, Monty is going to perform a measurement.
Perfect. Ideal. Can't believe we've been left alone in this lab while Dr. Martinez has gone to get the semen sample. It's all very high tech and we were warned not to touch anything. But I'm actually just reading the poster on the wall about Dynescan and I thought I would put this onto the pod because it does really summarise what we're doing. Dynescan, semen quality assessment, the only automated technology that measures mean swimming speed and percentage progressive motility over time. Easy to use, lab quality results and penside assessment. So there you are. We're not penside today, we're in the lab, but as I say, Dr. Martinez has gone to get some straws of semen and we're going to have a wee look, and I guess going to get to use this machine. So let's hope that goes all right. We're back. Oh, that looks cold.
This is the liquid nitrogen evaporating a little bit.
Smoking out of it, like. Yeah.
So this is very low temperature, something between minus 160, minus 180 degrees Celsius.
Oh my goodness.
What we're going to do first, we set up the instruments.
Yep.
We have the cables over here, right? So we have first the laptop.
Yep.
We have 3 connections to do. It's very quick. One, it's a USB 3 cable from the device to the laptop.
And the laptop's just a laptop with your software on it.
We use a fairly low specification laptops, and this is a beauty of our technology. We can provide the laptops, or if the users want to use their own laptop, if they have the requirements for our software to run, that will be fine as well. And from here, the device, it's at 37 degrees approximately within 2 to 3 minutes. We've tested it at near freezing temperature as well.
So it heats. It's got a little internal heater that brings it up to blood temperature, basically.
It's really important at the time to assess semen quality or semen motility that the sample is maintained at 37 degrees. Okay.
Yep.
And this is approximately also the internal temperature for the cow. So now we simply log in into the software, and here on the desktop what we see is the icon for the software, a simple double click, and then we simply need to enter the login details of a user. So every user has a member account, and all their data will be stored onto the laptop but also onto the cloud.
It's not just about developing this as the box, as it were, that does the thing. It's all the kind of the service software and app and what have you as well, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not only the hardware itself. We need the software to run with it.
Yeah.
And the truth is our core technology is around this innovative algorithm we developed to extract information from a video. Mm-hmm. So we have a very unique algorithms for the video processing.
Okay.
And this is really different from everything that is available in the market at the moment.
So this is actually, it's video technology then, that's really what it's relying on.
Yeah, just over here onto L shape, we have developed an imaging module.
Yep.
And with the software, this is a desktop application, we can control the camera. So we have a camera there to record videos with very specific optics.
Yep.
Right? And this specific optics allows us to use our algorithm to process the videos and extract information.
This could be plugged in a farm shed, the laptop beside it, and all of that, as you say, fancy camera, electronics, it's all contained in that little box, and it's robust and it's
yeah. So that's right. That's the key point. Is even though we have precise optics and technology here, it is robust, and you can use it on a table, on a camping table, at the shed, or at your vet practice.
Because I was reading that on the wall there, your poster, it's penside assessment.
Yeah, penside assessment. As you can see, just on top of it is the lab quality results.
Lab quality results, penside assessment. So you've got your bull here. You take the sample from him. This is sitting on a table in the shed, and it's all there in the yeah.
So we have over here a calibration slide. So I should mention that underneath the casing of the Dynescan came a little box which is attached to it, and that contains all the accessories required to run a Dynescan measurement.
It's quite clever. You've designed a storage system here as well.
Yeah, as well. So we have all included here, so that if the vet or farmer wants to use it, store it on the sides, he's not looking for all the elements, everything come together.
Yeah.
So over here we have a little calibration slide.
Right.
So we have instruction manual as well. We have on the website a lot of little videos to support, which is easy to check on the different steps. So I'm going to do the calibration, and we can move forward afterwards. So we simply put the slides into his calibration holder, and then we can remove the current sample holder from the device. Perhaps you can try to do it.
Right, okay. So click on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. And then click on select second points. Yeah. And then roughly on the same side of the second cross. Yeah.
Yeah.
So your calibration is within 0.5%, job's done.
Job done. Right.
If it's above 3%, there is a red message that's saying, please try to it again. And if you do it 3 times above 3%, you contact us. And we can, with your permission, remotely connect to the laptop and check if anything is wrong with it.
So that's a service from here. You can dial in, you can go through and check what's going on.
Always to give support to our users. Yeah. And then we simply click submit over here, and job's done.
So that's it now, reading properly we can go into this flask, we can take a sample, and we can...
So first we can see at the bottom, now we
Yeah.
come back to the main page of the software. On the left-hand side will be all the history of your measurements.
Yep.
On the right-hand side will be the results we can select.
Right.
At the bottom here, you can see instrument connected. The temperature is at 37.3 degrees. We have a real-time reading of the temperature.
So that was pretty quick. It came up to temperature.
Yeah, it's about 3 minutes in a lab environment.
Yep.
But again, it can work at below freezing temperature as well. Okay. So there is a reading of the temperature that give confidence about what temperature we have in the device as well, or the sample. Very good. So the next stage is simply preparing a sample. So I will going to do that just for safety measure.
Yeah,
I'm going to do that. You will do over there.
I'm scared of this now.
I'm going just to prepare all the little accessory before we thaw a straw. And so we have a little tube here that may be called a centrifuge tube. And we have a holder just to hold that tube.
Just for listeners, you probably don't want to think back to this, but it's basically like those little tubes and holders that we used when we were doing COVID samples back in the bad days.
Okay, so we are ready to go. I've got in the accessory box scissors to cut the straw, and we also have tweezers just to grab it.
These are standard straws that any AI technician, any vet, any farmer that's trained to do AI, they'll be familiar with that.
Yeah, this is a standard 0.25 mil straw.
Yeah. And I hope these are not from some fancy bull that each straw is worth a mega amount of money.
No, this one, these straws actually were donated by a farmer nearby, and that gave us a
Do you want to rephrase that? They weren't donated by the farmer, they were donated by his bull, Yeah.
Sorry. Were donated, by the farmer, but these straws are from one of his old bull that he's not using anymore.
Cool.
Yeah.
There was always going to be that joke in this podcast somewhere. We're hearing from Dr. Martinez here that anyone can do this, and I'm going to be allowed to have a go. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So you need to take the micropipette.
Yeah.
And you need to put a tip on top. So you simply press down the tip. Yeah.
And that's sucking it up.
Yeah, and that will suck up 3 microliter.
3 microliter.
Right. If you push further down, you will take more out of it.
Right.
So the idea is
set for 3. I can
for
see
3.
That, so
you go to the first stop,
Yeah.
and then you can take the sample here.
Right. So in we go.
Yeah.
Into this little plastic sample pot that, as I say, it looks like one of these things that you would have when you did a COVID test.
So you take the tube. Yeah, take the tube.
Right.
Very good.
Right, here we go.
And
Right.
you dip halfway through.
I can see the semen sample in the bottom of this,
So
and
you-
I'm going
you push first,
I'm
yeah.
pushing down,
Yeah.
and I'm going
In the
halfway
middle.
into the sample, and
Yeah.
it's going in.
And then you lift. Very good.
Right, we've got a sample. I can actually see it.
Yeah.
We've got it's a very small amount, but that's all we need
So now
for
you
this.
can pull out the sample holder. Yeah.
Right, I pull out, just
Yeah.
pull.
Yeah, pull. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be scared.
No problem. Right.
Yeah. And then we can lift it over here, and you lift that one.
Yeah.
So you can hold it,
Yep.
put the tip against the entry, really against it, yeah.
Like that?
Rest, you push all the way through, don't move, yeah. And when it's from the other side, you simply release your thumb, jump
Yep.
down.
There we are.
That's it.
I can just about see that's now full of the liquid. Right. Fine.
Very good.
So I've got the sample onto the slide.
Yeah, onto the slide.
Slide.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you can put it down the sample holder, start from the left. Very good. And then
There we are.
and you press down by pushing on the blue side.
Push.
Very
down.
good.
It's like a plastic sort of cartridge thing. If you imagine, I don't know, I don't use these fancy coffee machines, but it's like one of those things that goes into the machine. It's got the slide in it. It's going into the machine now. Right. And I'm going in as far as B. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, don't be scared to push it. That's
right.
okay.
So is that
yeah.
are we at B? A.
And then
B.
B.
Right.
Jumps down.
B. Right.
So I'm just aborting the previous measurements,
Fine.
and then we can go ahead.
Right.
So what you've done is basically the hardest step
Yep.
of the whole thing. It's
Yeah.
preparing the sample,
Yeah.
and then from here, this is fairly easy to.
From
to
here, the machine is doing it all.
Yeah. So we can start the measurement now. So you simply click on
New
New
job.
Job. It is not a touch screen.
Okay, folks. I am prodding my big sausage fingers at the screen. It can't happen like that. This is a A laptop.
Well, it can happen with
Oh,
a
it can
touchscreen
happen. Right,
laptop.
right,
Yeah,
go
yeah,
for it. But
not
this isn't one. Right, new job. Right.
Good job. So here we enter all the details. So
Yeah.
maybe you can put
Demo
your
2.
demo 2, and that's fine. Yeah,
Yeah. Bovine. Belgian
That's the
blue.
same.
And animal name is Demo Monster. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can do, if you keep to the bottom and simply click continue.
Right, go for it. Ah,
Very good. So here you can play a little bit. We need to focus the sample.
Yep.
We don't need to have a very precise focus. It's an approximate focus. And so, like a microscope, go up and down. So
Right.
just turn it. Don't go slowly, just go for it.
just go for it.
Just go for it. So that is really,
Here we are.
yeah, keep going, keep
So
going.
we're going from the dots to the...
Very good. So this is the parts I don't want the user to focus. What we see is flashing gray spots,
Yeah, right.
right? So we don't really want to see that, or white spots. So you go back the other way.
So we're looking at a screen now, and now we can see the what you would think of as tadpoles. They look like tadpoles that you would associate with maybe looking at a semen sample. And there's some swimming in circles, there's some swimming in straight lines, and there's some just not swimming at all. So what does that mean?
Yeah, so the one not swimming at all, or the one swimming in a very tight circle,
Yeah.
like this one over here,
Yeah.
will basically never reach the oocyte into the oviduct fluids, right? And the swimmers that swim in a straight line or approximately in a straight line should be the one that will be potentially successful, and there are other parameters as well to consider, like morphology and so on.
It's quite humorous to watch. I suppose it makes complete sense. The ones that swim, the ones that are going somewhere, are the ones that are more likely to get where they're going. The ones that are swimming around in little ever-decreasing circles have no chance.
And that's the point as well. That's why it's so subjective and difficult between different users to give a visual assessment.
Right.
Okay.
And this is all about using the Dynescan to take that difference out, to get an absolute measurement that anyone can then report on, anyone can then rely on. Yeah. So we're moving around in the magnifications again here.
So yeah, we came back to the Dynaval mode. We are going to perform the measurement now.
Yep.
So we switch back to the Dynaval mode over here and from the software as well.
Right. So that's what you were meaning earlier about. You can see now a bigger picture. You're looking at more of the sample.
Yeah.
That's what the machine's going to assess. Yeah?
Exactly. It's a much larger field of view. And that's why on that Dynaval mode you see little dots moving in place.
Yeah.
And the idea is to reach when you have all gray, approximately. So keep going, and a bit more. Yeah. A little bit more, and this is done.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not that we need to be very precise. This is flashing spots. We don't really want it. And then anything around here is fine. So
fine.
That's it.
Continue.
Continue.
Right, number of repetitions.
And here we select the number of repetitions. Maybe select 20, and maybe every 3 minutes.
Right, okay.
So you can click at the bottom here.
Yep.
And then it tells you exactly what the device is doing at the moment.
Right, camera initializing complete. Capturing video, so it's doing its job now. It's actually it's all happening inside this little Dynescan box.
And so you can click. This is Demo Monster.
Yeah, Demo Monster.
This is the measurement you started.
Right. Oh, here he goes.
And we have a first measurement.
So that's that in the blue. These are the scores on the doors, as it were.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So actually, we measure a progressive motility of about 25.2%, with an error bar of approximately less than 2%.
Okay.
And we have a nice swimming speed of about 77 micrometer per second.
So that's a nice swimming speed. That's what you.
It's okay as a swimming speed. As we're going to eventually see over time, we're going to observe a transition from what we called aerobic condition. Aerobic condition means the liquid is fully oxygenated, and the cells can use oxygen as extra source of energy. Right? Yeah. And then, but they consume that oxygen, and there is no more oxygen available inside the liquid. There is no more intake.
Right.
So once the oxygen is consumed, we'll see a sudden drop in swimming speed, which we call then be the anaerobic swimming speed. And so that will be a different metabolic activity, if you want, where they can metabolize components without oxygen.
So again, that's why this is important to take. If you want to take these next steps of analysing the sample over time, because that gives you the idea of how they would perform in anaerobic conditions. Yeah.
Yes, and so why is important to look at anaerobic condition? Well, we know the environment surrounding the oocyte in the oviduct fluid is low oxygen content and sometimes anaerobic environment.
Yeah. Right, got you.
Well, it is your very first time you perform a semen motility measurements.
Cool.
So we claim in general in the progressive motility plus minus 3%, but most of the time it is a much smaller variation.
Yeah, yeah.
And we just demonstrated today with you.
Yeah, so that is showing the accuracy and the reliability of what we're doing.
And that really what we bring to the whole industry, really from the labs,
Yep.
producers, suppliers, lab testing as well, down to the vet practices or the farm, we bring a technology where the numbers can be compared.
Get you. It's almost strange to think there wasn't that before. It's almost strange to think.
No, it is true. It's an issue with the complexity of identifying within that zoo of behaviors in a sample, the issue with concentration, identifying motile, non-motile, progressive motile, it is a very difficult task.
Yeah.
And up to today, the technology similar to what we had before called the CASA, available from the lab, which is a very expensive piece of equipment, could do it to some extent, but requires further manipulation, handling, or expertise of
a lab person.
Exactly, to do that. But what that, it's a completely different approach in the technology.
Yeah, I did it.
You did it.
Yeah, perfect. We understand. I hope the listeners have been able to follow what we've been doing here and understand why this is important. You know, we're talking about the dairy industry, but it's going to be rolled out across the agricultural sectors. But what we're talking about here is a tool that can make farming more efficient, more reliable, cut the carbon footprint, and it's actually replicable. It's not just relying on me or someone more trained than me, but still susceptible to human eye and human failings, looking at a sample down a microscope. This is going to be out there time and time again, giving reliable samples. And therefore, farmers can rely on the semen they're using to make sure their cows are reproductive. And it's all about better livestock management. It's about eliminating poor quality samples. You don't want to use poor quality semen. It's about checking the quality after transport, because, you know, as we've seen, it's got to be handled right, it's got to be flasked, it's got to be kept at the right temperatures. If that goes wrong, all sorts of things can happen with the semen. This Dynescan can show if something's gone wrong. It's about comparing processing methods, whether you've kept it in the right way, whether you've frozen it right, whatever. Ultimately, it's about making well-informed decisions.
And I'd like to say, on top of that, it could help farmers with their management if there is an issue. Like earlier this year, a farmer called us and got really bad conception results at the farm from all the straws left in the tank. And his speculation was, my tank was not serviced properly. Either the level of liquid nitrogen or a defect in the tank, and therefore I lost all the straws. He had some straws left in the tank. We went there, we tested the straws, and all the straws were perfectly fine. So in that case, it could remove one potential worry for the farmers and try to focus on maybe the EI process, something different to that. So we can help further farm managements overall.
And that is what this all comes down to. The whole fact of this tech, the whole fact of this lab, the whole fact of what we're seeing today is about making sure that, in this instance we're talking about cows, but making sure they're served. So we need to see results like this, and that's what this machine is giving us. It's giving us not only the motility at a given point, but because it can be analysed over time, we can be certain that those samples, that semen, is much more likely to serve those cows. Yeah.
And the Dynescan is the only technology out there that can perform automatically, in a fully automated way, the stress tests.
Yep.
And done by anyone with very little training.
Yep. Thank you very much. That's been really interesting. It's been great to be in a lab and learn all of this, and I hope the listeners have enjoyed it too. That was fascinating, wasn't it, spending time with Dr. Vincent Martinez? And Dynescan really does seem like a game-changing bit of kit. It's available right now for cattle and under development, and probably available, possibly even this year, for sheep, equine and canine markets. I think the most important thing to say about this is it's been developed right here in Scotland at the Edinburgh University's Roslin Innovation Centre. If you're looking for the kit online, the kit's called Dynescan, the company is Dyneval, and their web address is dyneval.com. You can find that in the show notes if you're looking for more information. Actually, we're sticking with Dynescan for our episode next week, and we're going to be hearing from a vet near Bristol about how he's using the kit out in the field.
The sort of cost involved, yes, of the semen, but also of the cost of poor fertility and the effect on farm businesses if something isn't working can be significant. So to have the added backup of a proven, accountable system, is good for us, and it's good for the farmer as well, because it takes that element of slight uncertainty out of it.
Lastly, our usual quick reminder, On Farm is made by our team here at Scene&HerdPR and Marketing, and you can give us a shout if you need help with any aspect of PR or communications for your rural or agribusiness. So, that's it for me, and bye for now.